about anything here, and that's why we do the roundtable here. On my right, but always political left, Ogie Overman, the great broadcaster and journalist, and held over from a previous segment, the Daggett Shuler guys, David Daggett, Griff Shuler. We explained that Griff is filling in for Keith because Keith was backed up with a traffic accident. He isn't in the accident, so he's okay, but he's backed up in the traffic. So we appreciate Griff hanging on. All right, guys, North Carolina lawmakers are debating legislation that would allow advanced practical nurses to see patients, prescribe meds and treatments without being supervised by a doctor. Good idea or bad idea, Ogie?
Jim, it's already happening. I mean, might as well face it. It's the wave of the future. My doctor changed practices, and I've been seeing a PA for the last year or so.
Okay. And of course, we're talking about nurses here, registered nurses, not physician's assistants. So registered nurses, what do you think?
Well, the nurse practitioners are playing a bigger and bigger role, which is good because we've had a log jam in our system, and it will help the consumer because they won't get stuck in quite the log jam. So I think it's a good thing within parameters.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree with David. I have all the respect for registered nurses. The law firm, we have represented many wonderful registered nurses. I think it's a bad idea if that's being done without being supervised by a doctor.
Okay. Meanwhile, just quickly on this one, North Carolina lawmakers want to eliminate a regulation that requires state employees to get COVID vaccinations. As I said quickly, you guys okay with that or not, Ogie?
No, I think it should be a requirement.
David?
I think it's a scientific answer. We require some vaccines. We don't require others. Has this run its course yet? I don't know. It's a scientific answer, not an opinion.
On this one, I'm going to agree with David.
Okay. All right. And in other legislative action, there could be a fight. A fight might break out here any minute.
This could be interesting by the
But I got Ogie with me no matter what.
Yeah, this may be the last time you ever see Daggett Shuler together on billboards or anything. In other legislative action, some lawmakers want to raise the age for compulsory school attendance from 16 to 18. Now, this means it would be illegal for a student to drop out before he turns 18. Good idea or bad idea, Ogie?
Well, that's pretty idealistic. It'd be nice, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Now, you two guys have worked with a lot of teenagers. This would mean that you can't drop out. You got to stay in there until you're 18. What do you think?
Well, the problem is you have rural areas, you have urban areas. I'm not sure that rule would fit everywhere. I would be against raising the age now. I think that it causes more problems than it solves at the present time.
And I guess some kids need to go out and make money for the family. I don't know. What do you think?
I think times have changed. I think some of that one it was put in 16 was during a time period where it was almost, a requirement for certain families for their kids to start working a little bit earlier. I really don't have a problem with it. I think there could be some good with it.
He's disagreeing with me again.
All right. Prosecutors in Newport News, Virginia say they will not charge the 6-year-old boy who deliberately shot his teacher. They say the boy wouldn't understand the charges or the legal system. Now, guys, do you agree with that decision? Or shouldn't the boy at least be put in a mental hospital? Ogie?
Well, I should defer to the two attorneys here, but just right off the top of my head, I don't see how a 6-year-old can stand trial. I just don't see it.
David?
Yeah. This case kind of fits in the gap. No, shouldn't stand trial in that sort of punishment for that at 6 years old. The flip side, we don't have mental hospitals that are equipped for 6-year-olds either. This young person obviously has a problem either with himself or with his home place, and that does need to be addressed.
So what do you do, Griff?
Well, I agree with David. I don't think you prosecute a six-year-old, but I think going to the family, there's got to be some way to help him and the family get some much-needed counseling, some help to hopefully get on a better path.
All right, in sports news, a girls' high school basketball team in Vermont refused to play the league championship game because their opponent had a trans male on the team. You have a problem with the girls refusing to play, first of all, and does that make them transphobic or just practical, Ogie?
Well, here we go again. I mean, every time you have a trans kid playing athletics, somebody's going to object. I mean, it happens every sport. So I wouldn't mind playing against a trans kid.
Dave?
Having transgender athletes is not a new issue. It's a new visible issue in society.
Right.
And the problem is we have not evolved to the point to properly regulate and handle this. It needs to be handled, it needs to be handled appropriately, it needs to be handled sensitively. I'm not sure the right answer for this date and time.
The girls, gave up a chance to play in the championship, didn't want to play.
It's a complicated situation. If they choose to make that decision as a team, I guess that's their selection.
All right. Finally, if you're unhappy with the way your signature looks, you can now pay a female calligrapher in Los Angeles $50 to sign your name for you. Guys, are you unhappy with your signature? Would you pay someone $50 to sign your name? And has a woman ever signed your name, Ogie?
Well, that's just silly. I mean, no, I wouldn't do that.
Has a woman ever signed your name?
Well, yes, we have one here in the room. Who is it?
Catherine Vernon is back there behind the camera going, yeah, I signed his name. Griff?
My signature is really, really bad and has gotten worse the older I've become, so maybe I need some help. I may need somebody.
Pay me $50.
Bring him in.
I'll sign it.
Pay Catherine $50. All right, well, that's all the time we have, fortunately. Oh, except for this. Last week, the city council in Berlin, Germany, voted to allow women to go topless at all the public pools. In other news, Ogie's moving to Germany.
All right.
Did you know that?
Germany.
All right, for all of us here on Triad Today, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next week.